If you have walked in downtown Russellville, chances are you have walked into one of the businesses that the Empress of Downtown owns. We are finally talking to Emily Young right after this on the Spotlight. Coming to you from the beautiful Alathus building in downtown Russellville, we welcome you into the Spotlight on this Thursday. If you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today, 479-968-5668, or cruise on over to russellvillliving.com. If you want to catch more of the Spotlight, that's coming up tomorrow morning at 8:30 on Carve AM 610 and 93.1. Tarshawn Whitehead and legendary LA Rams defensive back Eddie Metter join us. That's at 8:30 tomorrow on KARV. Today, our guest is someone that I have known for a very long time. She's gone from delivery driver all the way to who I have now dubbed as the Empress of Downtown. Her name is Emily Young. Emily, I am so glad we finally got you on here.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I said this off air. I decided I'm going to go ahead and say it on air.
Okay, yeah.
When I was in journalism, full time, I booked an interview with a presidential candidate. Easier than booking you for a guest spot on this show.
Yeah.
You've got 1,000 things going at all times.
A few, yeah.
So let's talk about those things. You own Dog Ear Books.
With my mom.
With your mom. You own Retro Roasts. With your mom?
Nope.
Nope. That
It's
one's
all me.
That one's on you.
Yep.
And then the Garage Arcade.
Yes.
Okay.
Also on me.
Also on you.
Yeah.
3 thriving downtown businesses. 3, I would call them staple downtown businesses, and yet they're not that old. They've only been around 5-6 years at this point.
Yeah.
Walk me through that process. You're saying, hey, I want to open a bookstore. Hey, it would be real cool. Let's open 2 more things.
Yeah.
Walk me through the beginning stages of the bookstore.
So what we did, because I had brainstorm agency, so I had a design agency that I didn't get a lot of traffic, and I wanted to be more involved in the community. So bookstores are great, community hubs. And so I talked to my mom, and this is the same time that Hastings shut down, and then Vintage Books shut down. So it was kind of like there's an opening, and people need a bookstore. So I talked my mom into it, and my dad. I call him Moneybags. He loves it.
I'm sure he does.
No, yeah. So we opened that in November of 2016. One of those years we opened it.
Right.
And then we just kind of ran with it. We had no idea what we were doing, but we were going forward anyway. And then what led to the other businesses was because of the bookstore. People come in, what is there to do downtown? Well, there's some things to do, but not easy, cheap, something the whole family can do. So arcade, that fits. So opened up the arcade, and in that process acquired a coffee shop. So it was coffee shop, arcade, and then we've just kind of mixed around and moved and done all sorts of stuff, and now we're here.
I find the entire story fascinating, mainly because of our backgrounds. If you had said to me, let's say 12 years ago, that, hey, Emily is going to have 3 downtown businesses, I'd say, I believe that. I want to see how it happens, but I 100% believe that that's going to happen.
Well, that's nice.
But hey, Drew, you're also going to be the marketing director of a real estate company downtown. I would say,
that guy.
I don't know about that. And the reason we say this is because we worked together for a long time at Pizza Hut right over
Pizza
here
Hut,
in Russellville. There were a lot of fascinating people that walked through there.
Yes.
I mean, I only bring that up because there's a bit of that story that I think is relatable to a lot of people here in this area, that you start out in a job that is paying the bills, is respectable, but not necessarily your passion.
Right.
And you're able to achieve that passion. Was this something that was on your radar even back then?
Not at all. No. I thought I was going to deliver pizzas my whole life. I said that was my calling. I was like Speed Racer, saving the world, driving. But no, there was no There was no foresight into that. I didn't think I was going to be a business owner. So
What was the? I mean,
surprise.
so the restaurant industry was the plan.
Yeah, there wasn't. I didn't do the whole like 5-year plan. I just
Mhm.
kind of woke up and did every day.
What when did that start to change?
Probably when I went back to school for like the 5th time. I have a 2-year degree that took me 10 years. So that was kind of, I had lots of time to think about uh, what to do. And once because I went to UACCM, so once I got my degree, I realized there wasn't really a good job for graphic design. And I didn't want to deliver pizzas anymore at that time.
Right.
So I just kind of did my own business, and I couldn't find a job, so I made a job, and that's kind of where it kicked off.
When you're walking through it was the brainstorm agency.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're picking up clients. We worked together on a couple of projects.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hey, this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything more than that there.
Nope, not at that time.
I'm just fascinated by this because
Yeah.
we've gone through the last 10 years and you said, no, I wasn't here yet.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't here yet. So the bookstore catalyst was really just hey, we could do this. Let's go for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of been the theme my whole life, because I would, in math, for instance, I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it. And then I'd get it. So it takes me a while to find what that end result should be. And yeah, I don't even really remember what, other than like Hastings closing and
R.I.P.
I know. I still have my Hastings card
I do too.
at the bookstore. I keep it under the drawer. It's good luck. But yeah, I don't know if there was like a specific thing that just kind of like, yeah, we need to open a bookstore. Because again, we didn't really have any business background. My dad has had an engineering business, but very different from
Right.
from a retail store. So yeah, it was just kind of an idea. And then my mom loves reading. Because I wasn't even a reader my whole life. But Twilight got me into reading. And so that's what I was like. Then I couldn't stop reading because, Twilight. Shout out Twilight.
So can I effectively say that perhaps Twilight is the reason we have dog-eared books?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. That's the clip I want
vampires.
everybody to know.
Yes.
Jaden's back there, doing this thing. He's like, yeah. All right, were you team? Okay, what were the two? It was Team Jacob, Team something.
I don't
Edward?
know.
Was it Edward?
It was Edward.
It was Edward?
I was Team Bella, though.
Team Bella? Okay, I'm with you on that. All right.
I had to make it difficult.
We're talking to Emily Young of Dog Ear Books, Retro Roasts, Garage Arcade, Brainstorm Agency, Downtown Russellville, the Empress of Downtown. Can we get a shirt
Oh yeah.
that says Empress of Downtown for you?
100%.
Okay, I'm down for that.
I will make that happen.
All right. If you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call, 479-968-5668. Hey, here's a question for you that I thought was interesting. You said something a few minutes ago and pick back up on. You said, okay, math. Math, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Oh, I got it. How were you in school?
I was okay. I wasn't good at focusing. So that's again why it took me 10 years to get a 2-year degree. It wasn't for me, but I was okay. I mean, I graduated.
Right. You got there.
I got there. Yeah.
You were one of those, I remember in the early days of me knowing you that I thought, okay, I probably ran into her at Higher Grounds at some point.
Oh yeah.
Were you one of the Higher Grounds kids?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Walk me through that stage of your life.
I don't know if we should do that. Just kidding. Yeah, I would go there every day after school. The Nirvana was my drink.
Yeah. Dream Shake was my guy, but
right. Yeah, and people still, because they're very protective of their drink recipes. And so occasionally, like, I would talk about Nirvana or something, and somebody would try to comment the recipe, and it's like, don't do that. That's their, But people are like, we need that back. So I'm going to try to buy that recipe from Pam or whoever. But yeah, I lived there basically. And That's why in retro roasts we actually have the high ground sign.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And
So.
it's very reminiscent to me because I was there a lot as well. And there was a whole generation of kids, especially from around here,
Mhm.
Dardanelle, Russellville, who, you know, we walked around downtown Russellville on Fridays and Saturday nights, drinking coffee and
Mhm.
listening to live music that,
Yep.
wasn't always good.
No,
I
didn't
mean,
need to be.
but it didn't
It was
exactly.
entertaining.
It didn't have to be.
Yeah.
I asked Amber and Justin Roberts about this a few weeks ago, so I ask you, that is not a culture that we really have here anymore that I'm aware of. How important was it for you from a formidable standpoint? Because I know for me that was huge.
Same. Definitely huge. Yeah, because the love of music, and because like a lot of our friends probably were in the bands, so it was cool to just like support our friends and
Yeah.
like Idiom.
That's a shout out.
I still have a DVD of theirs, which is pretty great. But
I found my Even Heroes Bleed CD the other day. Now that's old school.
these are collector's items.
They really are at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I may have the only one still in existence, but it's there.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah. So that was, I loved that, and that is actually the reason I wanted to be downtown. I was like, we're not opening anything anywhere else. It has to be downtown. Because I wanted to, since we don't really have something like that feel, I wanted to try to create that because it was so important in my life. And what's funny is when I would go to the coffee shop all the time, there was a Friday night and everybody was, it was busy, and I walked down the street to just like a little abandoned, I don't know if it was abandoned then, but it had like the AstroTurf on the ground and stuff.
Mhm.
I sat there and wrote a poem. I still have that poem, but that is now Dog Ear Books. So that place that I sat and wrote that is now the bookstore. So that was kind of a nice, there's a lot of nice, full circle moments downtown.
Let's go back before that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back because there were moments too where, and I can't emphasize this enough to the people who are older than we are and younger than we are, that this was a very weird generation of Russellville people because it was all driven, it seemed like, primarily by two things: music and sports. And you fit into one of those two categories.
Yeah.
And for a guy like me who tried to do both, it was very, very awkward because on Friday night you would finish up the football game and then you would go try to drink coffee. And you're like, nah, this I don't know. But it was so formidable.
Yeah.
And I can't really pinpoint that magic anywhere currently.
Yeah.
So the next question is, you said the whole reason I'm downtown is because I wanted to create that.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to do that?
I don't know. That's how. Yeah.
That's where the brainstorm agency comes in, right?
Yeah. It's one of those. Well, and that's one of those things that you can't really just create. It has to just happen.
Mhm.
And I mean, a lot has changed in our world since there definitely wasn't Facebook.
There was no Facebook.
Yeah.
We had just gotten MySpace
Yeah.
in a post-Zango world.
Oh, Zanga.
Yes.
That was good.
It wasn't.
I found mine the other day. It was not good. But yeah, I think we were just more. We had nothing to do, which was a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because we've, formed a lot of friendships, and I think we were closer then, just to, I don't know. But it's something that you can't really force. It has to just happen. So I'm just trying to create a place for it to happen. Maybe that's a good way of putting that.
Your journey has not come without adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to get into a lot of the specifics, but there was one thing that I don't think a whole lot of people know about you, is that you were a survivor.
Mm.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah.
Walk me through your younger years of actually your battle with cancer.
Well, I was 14, so I don't remember a lot of it. I mean, that's now. It was funny because I've lived more of my life without cancer than had. Anyway.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So I was 14 and had a germ cell tumor, size of a football, weighed 30 pounds. It was gross. So they cut the tumor out, and then I was on chemo for not too long, maybe like 3 or 4 months, and they got it all. So it was kind of like a really intense, and then just continuing to be in remission. But I had to be homeschooled for a year, which was real fun. My mom loves me. Which she does now, but that was fun because I wasn't really, school wasn't my thing, and then she has to teach me. So, and of course I still to this day say, well, I had cancer, I don't want to do this.
Right.
It's my go-to always.
Right. To this day, like.
Oh yeah,
it's like,
yesterday.
yeah, sorry, I can't.
I had cancer. I don't know if you know that.
Right.
So if you hear me say that, I'm not just being rude. I had cancer.
Right. So I mean, there is that
it beats
comp,
everything.
right? How much of that experience though changed any worldview, if any worldview?
It changed a lot, probably spiritually, because of course I was mad,
Right.
and so there was a lot of soul searching for a 14-year-old. It was more once I got older and could look back on it, and I actually, there's a thing that the bookstore does called NaNoWriMo. Well, the whole country does it, but it's where you write a book. And last year, I think it was last year, pandemic, I was like, hey, maybe I'll write a book, but I didn't know what to write about. So I started talking to my family about their experience and learned a whole lot of stuff. And so it was kind of like through what they experienced, I learned more about what happened to me. So it's still changing me, learning about stuff, but maybe there'll be a book someday. Everybody can read about it.
Those kinds of traumatic experiences, my wife and I have been walking through something sort of similar, not quite the same, but similar.
Traumatic.
And, right, yeah, traumatic. I find that those experiences are less formidable in the middle because you're in straight up fight or flight.
Yeah.
Did it take a while to process that? You even mentioned are you still processing it?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
When I learned more stuff. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know what was going on half the time. They told me to go to this room and do this test, and I did. So yeah, it was you look back on it, and then you learn more and reflect more. But it was an event for sure.
You walk through all of these different adversities in your life, and you decide, I'm going to deliver pizza.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to become the Empress of downtown.
That was the end goal, yes.
That was it. I was like, you know what? I think what I'd like to do is own all of the things.
All of them.
All
yes.
of them. All right.
Or maybe just some of them.
Or just some of them.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to that in a second because we got to hit on another life event. Recently married. Congratulations on that.
Yes, thank you.
The first 3 months of mine and Jamie's marriage, I thought, okay, this is not at all different than what it was going. Like everybody said, well, this is exactly the same.
Yeah.
By about month 4, I thought, okay, something is different here. How's the first 3 months been?
Pretty good. We've crammed a lot of stuff in, because she's from Memphis, so we moved her here, and then bought a new house, and got married, and then my grandpa passed away, and so there's been like all the things that can challenge a marriage, in my experience, because
right. The first 90 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's been great. I mean, we've handled it great, and it's good too because she understands that I have no time, but she's helping me like get time,
right?
Because I need to not drive myself insane. But she does ceramics and stuff, so it's nice to have somebody that just gets it, and they have their own business, and so it's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
We have 4 cats, 2 dogs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a house full.
That's a lot. Like, have you found that balance yet?
No. No, but I'm getting closer. Which is why it's sometimes hard to schedule things.
Right, exactly. The funny thing about this, we had this scheduled, and I promoted it a month and a half ago. I was like, okay, no, we can't do that. I was like, okay, well, we're going to do something different. And then like, okay, maybe we can do it this way. I was like, I'm not promoting this. I'm not doing
Don't
it.
do it.
We are
That
not.
jinx it.
We
Yeah.
are not doing this. And we finally got here, and I'm
Yes,
so
yes.
excited. And by the way, Emily is going to join us on KARV next week as well. So we're excited about that. By the way, if you are interested in buying or selling your home, you can give us a call today, 479-968-5668, or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. If you've missed any of our Spotlight interviews, you can go back and check them out on the Facebook archives. Also, YouTube, Google Play, iTunes, and Spotify. We are everywhere with the Spotlight. Coming up next week, we have a whole host of great guests that I cannot wait to tell you about, including the CEO of St. Mary's, Bob Honeycutt. He will join us on Tuesday. We'll be talking all about the happenings and goings on in the St. Mary's regional medical systems. And then, of course, tomorrow, Polk County Sheriff Shane Jones will be in studio with us as well. Emily, I think there is something that happens to your brain when you become an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I do, and I don't know exactly how to explain it to the people who have never done it before. I owned my own business. You've owned your own business. There's just kind of a switch that flips that's very difficult to turn off, of thinking about it nonstop all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
You have 3 of them.
Yeah.
How do you turn the switch off?
I don't.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. But I try, reading meditation books, and reading actually kind of helps me. Reading, playing video games, basically everything I have as a business, when I do that on my own, is to cut. Like it helps me just disconnect for a second. Which then, of course, stresses me out, because I'm like, well, something probably happened while I was relaxing and turning it off. But it's something I'm still trying to figure out. But having a lot of help, there's a lot of, the bookstore with my mom and dad and sister, like, it's a family business. So if I need help doing something or whatever, they're there, right? And then at the coffee shop, I just have great employees. I have great employees everywhere, but delegating helps me be able to kind of turn it off a little bit.
I find it interesting too. Danielle Hausneck, who is the executive director of Main Street Russellville now,
My best friend.
she is great. She has been on our program 3 times now. So
Nice.
she gets 2. If she gets 2 more times, she gets like a punch card or something somewhere. When I first met Danielle, she was working at the bookstore.
Yes.
Now her influence is very prevalent throughout downtown.
Yes.
Can you talk about the shift of where downtown was maybe pre-dog year versus post-dog year? Because maybe this may not be something you think about, but I think that dog year books coming in was a catalyst for a shift of culture. Would you agree with that?
Yes, because many people have said it. Again, it was not like the intent, but it was nice to, especially having that big storefront, right there on Main Street. It was like, okay, this place has a bookstore right on Main Street. This is a great place to be. Because bookstores are like the third place, as they call them. It's not home, not work, somewhere you go to just kind of exist. And so I think we accidentally did that. We kind of showed what downtown, it has a lot of potential, and I've always known it had potential. And there's some great stuff here. So doing that, I think, was perfect for that time. But now that we've relocated, that's perfect for what we need now. And but yeah, I think that kind of helped kick stuff off, having dog year right there.
What's next?
Nap.
A nap.
I don't know. That's another thing, that because you have to keep trying to make it work. That's probably the hardest. When we moved the bookstore, it was a lot because of COVID. And so trying to get that started back up is hard still. And then, of course, it's about to be hard again for another reason.
Yep. Which is the same reason. But...
Yeah. Just dumber. Maybe.
Right.
But, yeah, so I think just trying to adapt and stay in business is a struggle. But yeah,
Do
I don't know
you?
what you asked. What's next?
What's next?
Uh,
Yeah, that was
uh,
my West Wing moment.
yeah.
Is of what's next.
Yes, yes.
Do you? This may be a deeper question than you really want to, where you want to really go, but
Mhm.
um, if you go back and talk to yourself, 10 years ago and say,
Mhm.
hey, this is what's coming,
Mm-hmm.
can you see yourself now as a role model for the kids who are kind of coming up like us, who have that same
Yes.
similar mindset?
Yeah. Maybe.
But is it hard to process it that way?
Yes. Yeah. 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 Because, well, and I have had people come to me and say things like that. I inspired them to do something, and that's just weird. But it's nice because that's all, be who you needed when you were younger.
Yeah.
I think it does help uh, a lot of maybe just people who kind of stay to the side. We've had a lot of people say that having someone who owns businesses and is trying to be as active in the community as possible, for me to be gay and be able to do stuff is huge to them. And so it's kind of like, when I was younger, I didn't have that. I didn't
Right.
know it was possible. I thought it was, oh no, I'll never amount to much, because there was just nobody I could look to see that. So in that regard, yeah, that's huge to be that and show people that it's possible.
But even beyond that, I there was a conversation that I had recently with a young journalism student. I get to speak to the journalism students at Tech sometimes, and because see, there it is again.
Sorry.
No, it's always because I came up where I came up and in the socioeconomic class that I came up in, which was bad, by
Mm.
the way. Like we didn't think it was possible for people from Yale County to make it national at some point,
Right.
or to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, is that something that you at least let yourself think about? In other words, do you know your influence in the community now?
Yes. It's still weird, but yes.
How do you want to use it?
To make the world a better place.
That was the most pageant girl answer I've
Thank
ever
you.
heard. Just go ahead and give me world
Puppies.
peace too.
Yes,
I
yes.
was like, world peace. No, really. What do you want to see differently?
A lot of stuff, but I think for Russellville specifically, there's so much potential here, meaning talent in kids now, that we just need to foster that, be open to progress and change. I know it's hard, but I think
It's okay, y'all.
it's okay. It won't hurt too bad. But just to keep flourishing, and I have thought, like, briefly about running for city council or something to try to enact more change, but I think I'm better on the outside, maybe just helping people understand things maybe that they don't think about. For example, there's been a lot of people who are now educated that when you come to the bookstore, we will not have the same prices as Amazon. They now know why. So just influencing people to understand shopping local and how that affects the entire community because of sales tax and, stuff people just don't think about. I like to think that I help educate and change it that way.
I think that's incredibly important because that conversation has been at least had more in the last 5, 6,
Oh, yeah.
7 years, maybe even because of the catalyst of dog year. I want to switch gears for just a minute, and we're going to wrap up. I want to switch gears and talk about the Garage Arcade.
Okay.
Retro Roasts, by the way, outstanding coffee. I'm so happy that I'm in walking distance.
Yeah.
But I'm really in walking distance of Garage Arcade. I could just go right there.
Yeah.
I haven't done
You
it
can
yet.
just roll there.
I haven't done it yet.
That's
Oh,
rude.
don't be offended.
Okay.
You haven't been here yet either.
Oh, right. Cut that part
Yeah,
out.
it's like edit right here. The I I know that the catalyst for the idea was okay, we might need something downtown. Retro arcade though,
Hmm.
whose idea was that?
Mine.
What?
I like video games.
Okay, that was the next question.
Yeah.
Did this come out of hey, I'd really like to own a business where I can play some video games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Quality
play?
control. Oh, guys, sorry, I gotta go play some games.
Do you play them?
Yes, but not nearly as much as I would like to.
Right.
When we first opened, we had two cabinets, and then it just kind of kept growing. And the people that we partner with are excellent, because they're the ones that find the games, fix them up, bring them in. So when they brought in the Ninja Turtles, I hugged the machine, and then I played it for like an hour.
Joey Balch of Beards and the Bees fame
Hmm.
and Downhill Runners fame. Oh,
Shout out.
yeah, they're playing September 4th. Those guys are awesome.
They're pretty cool.
They're cool guys.
Especially that one guy.
Yeah, Joey's that one guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's that one guy. He was so excited about Turtles in Time
Right.
that I thought he was going to cry. There's the impact right there.
It's yeah, and that the arcade especially is literally like from baby to grandparent.
Yeah.
Like, they want to find Pong, which we don't. I don't think we have Pong, but like that was their introduction, and then people our age where it's just like there's so many memories that I've made while playing video games.
Yeah.
I have a Nintendo controller tattooed on me because of that. Because I would play with my friend in Tennessee all the time, and it was a Ninja Turtle game. So it's like, and he passed away. That's why I have the tattoo. But, video games are not just like, oh, you're playing video games. It's a whole other world.
And I think that stigma's changed too.
Yes.
I think when we were kids, it was like, hey, go outside, Nintendo's going to fry your brain.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
now, my daughter and I, we have spent countless thousands of dollars at the garage arcade playing
Thank you.
different. You're very welcome.
Yes.
Playing different games, and it's fascinating because there is kind of like that generational building block there that maybe we didn't see that coming back when we were kids.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me.
Yeah, because and you'll meet people. I think that's the thing about video games is you can always, like when you play a video game, you're not you're a character for the most part. And so that lets you be whoever you want to be. So everyone can, even if they don't like the game, they'll play it, I haven't met anyone that hates video games, but I'm sure they're out there.
Well, those people are not people that we want to associate with.
No, I don't need their quarters.
Oh, you still do, but we don't.
I would like them.
Yeah, we would like very much to have those quarters. We're talking to Emily Young, the Empress of Downtown. If you would like to buy or sell your home, you can give us a call today, 479-968-5668, or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. Emily, we're wrapping up here. Tell me what I need to know about your three businesses downtown.
Shop at them.
All right, awesome.
Spend money.
That's it. Yeah.
Tell your friends. Like us on Facebook. Just support us. Support all of downtown. Because we need it right now.
There's a synergy at downtown too, because you guys and Retro Roast and B Street Bakery,
Yes.
do y'all have some partnerships kind of happening?
We have we have things that B Street doesn't carry in their place. So it's scones and biscotti. So we have their stuff. They have our coffee. So it's kind of, and then Jackalope also has their very own bean and roast. It's the Jackalope roast. So yeah, there's a lot of partnerships downtown that are pretty great.
Hey, we're downtown.
I know you should do it.
You want to partner with us?
Yeah.
How are we going to do that?
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so on the spotlight every day, I'm just going to have a Retro Roast coffee sitting right here for product
Perfect.
placement.
Yes.
And then we'll figure something. Maybe you can air the show
Absolutely.
on a TV somewhere. See, we just struck a deal downtown. This is how we do it.
Yep.
All right. Hey, listen, if you want to hear more of Emily Young, she's coming up next Friday on KARV. That's AM 610 and 93.1. We are looking forward to that. Sheriff Shane Jones joins us tomorrow on the Spotlight. That's coming up on Friday. Emily, I am so glad we finally got this done.
Me too.
Thank you for coming. Can we do it again sometime in 2024?
I'll check my calendar.
All right. Outstanding. Emily Young, thanks so much. And thank you for joining us today on the Spotlight. Remember, Shane Jones is coming in tomorrow. He's the sheriff of Polk County. Bob Honeycutt is the CEO of St. Mary's Regional Medical Systems. He will join us on Tuesday. For now, my name is Drew Brent. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Spotlight. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.